Hi guys, my name is Chris and welcome back to another episode of Get Good at Golf. Today we're talking about the shot that everybody hates, the up and over a bunker, the awkward distance of 30-40 yards, when even tour pros are getting this kind of shot wrong. They're not sure always what to do, what club to choose. A lot of people choose this club right here. So they choose the 60 degree, they go straight to loft, they go for the biggest swing they've got, and a lot of the times what we see is people open the stance, cut across that ball, and there's already a lot of red flags that we're looking at there. So we're cutting across the ball, we then don't know how fast the ball is going to come off the club. We're also then not sure what kind of spin we get. We're also then not going to guarantee the distance that we get from that ball. It's going to be very hard to judge. You might have this shot a couple of times around, and that's really going to cost you when you leave it straight in the bunker in front. So again, what I see is people get the stance open, swing really across that ball, really big swing, take a divot, looks good, no. 10 yards short, big divot, not the interaction with the ground that we're looking for, and then it's very hard for me to get a good shot and a good contact. So what we need to think about here for this shot is where do I want it to go on the green. So look where the flag is. You can see that I've got a little bit of green to work with, but there's not much behind it. And if there's not much green behind the flag, we need to think maybe we play to the safest shot. You've already hit a shot over here. We want to limit the damage that you are going to do to your score. So if we go to the fatter part of the green, we've actually got more green to work with, and we can be a little bit more positive, and it's not as high tariff. But setup wise, what we want to do, guys, is get nice and square to our target. We're going to open that club face, but then the big thing is there, yes, that ball will start right. So what we need to do is lower that handle and get a little bit lower down into the ground. So similar to a bunker shot, we're going to lower our stance, get into the sand. We're going to do the same here. And again, I go a little bit wider with my feet so I can control that swing. From there, what I can do is make a bigger swing, nice and shallow. But again, we've gone into that bunker. So I've done everything right there. The ball's gone nice and high, but it's still come up short. And I've struck that perfect. I knew how it was going to come out. It's nice and straight, but it's the club that's holding me back. So what we can do, depending on what set of irons you have, depending on what wedge setup you have, you can change loft. So instead of going for your 60, hopefully we can look into your bag. You might have a different setup, you might have a 54, you might have a 56. I have a 56 here. I can do the same kind of setup. Again, a little bit more bounce on this one, but we'll talk about that in further videos. I'm going to open this up, guys. I'm going to do exactly the same setup. I'm going to open that up, lower my stance, and I can play the same shot here, nice and shallow. And you'll see that's gone a little bit longer. So on the green, just right of the flag, but I've got a putt there. But you can see I've done exactly the same swing with that club, but just because we've got a little bit less loft, it's going to come off a little bit faster, but it guarantees that I get the distance. The perfect strike with the 60 degree was a great shot. You'd be more than happy with it, but it just simply won't get there. So when you're setting up for this shot, guys, think about what club you can get. If you're opening the club face, you'll see that you can go down. You can even play flop shots with such clubs as your 52, as your 50. We wouldn't suggest going all the way down there if you're not comfortable, but you can do it with your 56. It guarantees you're going to get the distance, and then from there, we're going to get you better at...
Hi, I'm James, and I used to be addicted to my 60 degree wedge. That's until Chris from Get Good at Golf helped me out massively. I've since thrown away my 60 degree wedge, kind of, not really, because they're quite expensive, but I'm now using more a 56 degree wedge. Now the reason for this, even with the shot that Chris showed was so difficult, you don't generally need a lot of loft to get the ball up in the air. This is a sand wedge, 56 degree, and the main thing is that I give dynamic loft to this ball. So I'm going to have a nice narrow stance. I'm actually going to have the ball in the middle of the stance. Sometimes people put the ball right at the front of the stance, and then you'll see they get this shot. That's not the shot. It's actually done really well. That's not the shot that we want to be playing when going over a bunker, which most golfers get wrong. We want to make sure the ball is actually in the middle of the stance, and the key here is having the weight on your left side, having the weight forward or the right side if you're a left-handed golfer. I can still have the handle forward ever so slightly, but I want to make sure that weight stays left and I rotate around that left side. That's almost a post for me to rotate around. You'll see there, if I then keep that face rotating around my body, I am keeping the loft open and keeping the loft on the club to be able to pop the ball up in the air just like that. You see, I have got ground interaction, there's nothing wrong with that. So many people might think, James, you've duffed that, you've taken a divot. You should not be taking a divot around the greens. I've not got a problem with you taking a divot as long as you get ball first and give loft to that ball. So many times you see people have the ball too far back in the stance as well, and that's your alternative to having it too far forward. Then you're going to generally get too steep on the ball and you're not going to get the loft to get it over the bunker. So that is why I have binned my 60 degree, and I guess I've got Chris from Get Good at Golf to thank for that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been James, that's been Chris. Make sure you join us tomorrow for another episode of Get Good at Golf.